In this video, you'll learn many of the basic plowing techniques needed to clear roadways safely and efficiently during winter weather events. These techniques have been used and refined over many years and will help you in developing your own plowing methods for clearing both two-lane roads and multiple-lane highways. Operation of V-plows, wings, and ice blades will be covered in other videos. As you do anytime you begin a shift, be sure to secure any loose items. Utilizing the passenger side seat belt or a bungee cord is necessary. Also, be sure to familiarize yourself with all cab controls. The Iowa DOT has a diverse fleet of trucks in any given shop. If you are in an unfamiliar truck, the controls may not be where you expect them. Know the locations of all plow, wing, spreader, ice blade, and vehicle controls so that you can operate them without taking your eyes off the road. It is also a good idea to be familiar with the operation of your two-way radio and to check its operation prior to leaving the garage. You will likely be assigned a two-way, two-lane route on your first shift alone. These routes are great for learning the extent and operation of the truck and plows. As you begin plowing, stay in your own lane and position the left side of the plow near the center of the road. Angle your plow to the right to push the snow off the right-hand side of the road. Always try to uncover the center line on your first pass. Typically, you will also use a wing to increase your plowing width and push snow further away from the road surface. In both high and low wind conditions involving snow, you may have a difficult time seeing the roadway center line. When you can't see the center line, you may have to rely on using the edge of the road and rumble strips as your guide. Veteran plow operators often watch the shoulder for signs of rock or grass if there is not a hard surface. You can also use delineators, guardrails, road signs, mailboxes, and other objects to help give you some idea where the center line may be. You can usually feel when the front wheel goes off the road onto the shoulder. If this happens, gently compensate by carefully steering back toward the center line. Do not overcorrect. This can cause you to enter into the oncoming lane. When you get to the end of your route, find a safe place to turn around. Once you have made your turn, position the plow to catch the snow that was left near the center of the road. Continue making passes until both the driving lanes are open and have returned to near normal winter driving conditions, or you are assigned to a different route. Everything you have learned about plowing a two-lane highway applies to plowing a multiple-lane highway or interstate, with the exception of where you make your first pass. As with any road, the primary goal is to provide a pathway for vehicles to get through. Where you plow that first lane will depend on whether there is a median wide enough to hold the snow. If there is a wide median, make your first pass in the right-hand lane with your plow angled to the right. Move the snow on the first pass to the right shoulder. With your second pass, angle your plow to the left and move the snow to the left towards the median. Oftentimes, you will be assigned as part of a team of trucks. One plow will take the left lane and wing the left shoulder, while the other will take the right lane and wing the right shoulder. Here, the front truck is in the right lane, with their plow to the right, pushing snow toward the shoulder. The second truck follows, with the plow angled to the left. This truck must be lined up so that it catches the snow left behind by the first truck. When plowing to opposite sides, leave sufficient space and allow traffic to pass between the trucks. If the median is too narrow to facilitate snow storage, you'll have to push all the snow to the right. The lead truck pushes snow from the left lane into the right lane, while the second truck lines up to catch the snow left by the first truck and continues pushing it to the right shoulder. If you are working alone and in a situation where you can't move snow to the left, make your first pass in the left lane, then follow up by catching the snow that was left by your first pass and continue pushing it to the right. Sometimes, even if a road has a wide median, it may not have enough capacity to hold all of the snow that needs to be plowed. Before deciding the method of plowing, you should determine the capacity of the median based on the amount of snow on the roadway and the size of the median and the area to be plowed. Now that you have learned the basics of clearing two-lane highways, here are some specific things you should keep in mind when plowing snow. A maximum speed of 25 miles per hour has proven to be the most efficient speed for plowing snow. When speed exceeds 25 miles per hour, the plow tends to skip over snow and requires extra trips to clear the leftover snow. Excessive speed can also damage snowplow equipment very easily. Be especially aware of your speed when plowing in town. If you are moving too fast, snow will be thrown off the plow and could possibly damage property. Also, watch for pedestrians who may be in the line of flying snow. Speed should also be adjusted based on driving and wind conditions. You may need to maintain a slower speed to ensure snow is removed from the roadway and does not get blown back onto the roadway after you pass. Drivers rely on you to make their trip safe, so always drive defensively. Don't assume others see or hear your approach. Be on constant watch so that you can compensate for others' mistakes. Scan well ahead for oncoming traffic and potential hazards. In snowy conditions with decent visibility, that's about a quarter of a mile or 12 to 15 seconds ahead. Also, scan your mirrors every 3 to 5 seconds to check for drivers attempting to pass you. If a long line of vehicles forms behind you, use your judgment about moving over to allow traffic to pass by. If you make the decision to pull over, always signal your intentions and pick your spot carefully. Shoulders and driveways may be icy and slick or soft and muddy at various times during the winter season. Also, always be alert for emergency vehicles. If an emergency vehicle is approaching and needs to pass, pull over to the side of the road if safe to do so. If it is not possible to pull over completely, slow down and pull over to the right as far as possible. If you should come upon an accident and believe you need to render assistance, be sure you use universal precautions in treating victims so as not to endanger your own health. Call your supervisor if you leave your vehicle, render aid, or if a vehicle needs to be moved. When roads are covered with snow and ice, the distance required to stop is far greater than under normal conditions. Try to anticipate the speed needed to slow down and stop and leave yourself plenty of extra room. Similar to stopping, turning takes more room too. When you add a plow to the front of your truck, the truck becomes longer and wider. You won't be able to make a lot of turns that you would without the plow attached, so think ahead. Be selective in finding a spot to turn around. Make sure there is plenty of space to turn and that you have a clear view in all directions. When plowing, you will notice that snow pushes the truck back in the opposite direction of your plow. Even driving on straight sections of road can be challenging, as the snow has a considerable effect on how your truck handles. If you are plowing to the right, the snow will push your truck to the left and vice versa. When there is significant snow on the road, you'll have to oversteer to counteract the force of the plow. At times, you may need to plow when there is heavy congestion. Traffic and congestion can make it difficult to clear the road safely and quickly. Remain calm and proceed with caution. Operate your plow defensively, knowing that drivers may make erratic movements in an attempt to pass or get around you. Visibility is a constant issue when you are plowing. Keep your windows as clean as possible so you can always see in all directions. If your truck is outfitted with heated mirrors, make sure they are turned on at the beginning of your shift. Additionally, keep your windshield wipers clean and keep your lights on so that other drivers can see you. There may be times where you have to slow down because of low visibility. In some extreme cases, you may even have to pull off the road. Operating a snowplow, especially in severe weather conditions, can be stressful. Get plenty of sleep before you arrive for your shift. Once you are on the job, drink liquids and eat enough food to stay alert and keep your energy level up. Also, whenever you feel the need, stop your truck, get out for some fresh air, and stretch. Wear comfortable clothing appropriate for the conditions so that you stay warm and dry even when you need to leave the truck. Always wear high-visibility clothing when outside the cab for safety, and let your supervisor know if you ever need to leave the truck. Your safety and the safety of others on the road is of the utmost importance. If at any time you have an important question or serious issue, use your radio and call your supervisor or another experienced operator. Now that you have learned some of the general plowing techniques, let's talk about some of the special areas you may encounter along a route. There are a couple of ways to clear an intersection. The first is to straighten the plow as you enter the intersection. As you cross the roadway, move slightly to the right as you go through to catch as much snow as possible. Another method is to go through the intersection from every direction, always moving snow to the right. This method may require additional passes with the plow straight to clean up any snow left in the center of the intersection. If you are plowing an open or low side rail bridge, one that is open or low enough to allow the snow to go through or over, and if there's not another roadway or railroad below, plow it much the same as the road, pushing the snow to the right, over or through the barrier. However, if there is a road or railroad below, or if the bridge has high or closed barriers on each side, slow down and proceed carefully over the bridge to avoid throwing snow onto any oncoming traffic or tracks below. In this situation, set your plow straight or nearly straight and move as much of the snow to the end of the bridge so that you avoid snow piling up along the barrier. This is important since snow piles along the barrier can form a ramp which could facilitate a vehicle going up over the barrier and off the bridge. So for bridges with high closed barriers, plow straight and slow. On super elevated bridges, or those that are elevated higher on one side, move as much snow as possible to the low side of the bridge. This helps prevent snow on the high side from melting and freezing into ice as it flows across the bridge to the low side. The same applies for islands. Never plow snow onto raised islands. Snow will melt off and refreeze on the roadway. Whenever you go on or off a bridge, you must make certain that the angle of your blade is not parallel to the expansion joints. If it is, the blade can fall into the expansion joint and cause considerable damage to both your truck and the bridge. Also, be especially careful when plowing truss or pony truss bridges. Hitting a truss with a plow can also cause significant damage. Bridge decks tend to ice up before a roadway, so use caution whenever plowing a bridge. When approaching railroad tracks, raise your plow high enough to clear the tracks. Then lower it after you are completely across. A lowered plow can catch in the tracks and damage the moldboard, blade, and even the railroad tracks themselves. Also, be sure to stop any material from being spread on the tracks. A buildup of snow, ice, or material on the tracks could derail a train. For all railroad crossings, be sure to raise your plow and turn off your spreaders. Clearing ramps is similar to plowing any other type of road. There are just a couple of points to keep in mind. First, whenever possible, move snow from the high side of the ramp to the low side to prevent melting and freezing. And second, be sure your plow is angled in the proper direction before coming off a ramp and entering traffic. There are some situations where you will be pushing snow one way down a ramp, then need to push snow the other way as you enter the main line. The area between the road and the ramp is called a gore. Keeping gores clean helps drivers to approach and enter the traffic stream safely. Pushing snow beyond the gore and onto the shoulder is always the preferred removal technique. To do this, keep your plow straight as you enter the gore. Then angle the plow to the right after you pass it. Never push the snow straight into the gore. That would be similar to building a concrete wall near the roadway. Some gores have crash cushions. Crash cushions can come in a variety of shapes and sizes, but the procedure is always the same. Keep snow away from them whenever possible. Snow buildups near crash cushions can form deadly walls or ramps for oncoming drivers. When clearing some gores or point areas, team up with another operator so that one of you can control traffic while the other handles the cleanup. If possible, drive your route before it snows so you can take note and memorize locations of potential obstacles or problem areas. Guardrails, curbs, and islands are obvious problems to watch for. Other obstacles that you need to be on watch for include mailboxes, fire hydrants, delineators, light poles, guide wires, signposts, and stalled vehicles. In a bad storm, any of these obstacles can be hard to see and easy to hit. It is important to be aware of these hazards and to study your route before a winter weather event occurs. The Iowa DOT provides operators an opportunity to practice their plowing techniques in the fall using a snowplow simulator. The simulator helps drivers learn how to react to hazardous situations without any real risk. As your knowledge of each route improves, the speed and quality of your work will improve as well.